You got it.
Hello, everyone. This is Rosalind Sedacca, and you are listening to WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. And this is Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living with Rosalind Sedacca. And as you know, I'm the founder of the Child-Centered Divorce Network. I'm a divorce and co-parenting coach, and the focus of my work is helping parents make the best decisions about their children before, during, and long after divorce. And I have wonderful guests who share wonderful insights about ways you can do that in the most effective way and the best way regarding the children that you love. So today I'm very excited about our program because I'm going to introduce you in just a minute to Junie Moon. And our show title is Healing from the Inside, Shadow Work, Self-Sabotage, and Their Impact on Children After Divorce. So in the program today, we're going to be exploring how shadow work and self-sabotage can deeply affect not only our personal healing, but also the well-being of our children after a breakup or a divorce. And Junie Moon is CEO of Midlife Love Out Loud, and she's a global love mentor, and she's dedicated more than 30 years of helping women embrace self-love and break free from self-limiting patterns. So welcome, Junie. It's a pleasure to meet you here.
Thank you for having me. And I just want to say that what you're bringing, these tools, your intention, it's so needed. It's so needed for the future of these children. And it certainly makes parenting a lot easier when they have tools. Otherwise, it can be so challenging when it comes to divorce. So, such a beautiful service that you're
Well,
offering.
thank you. I can't help but agree with you.
Otherwise, why do it, right?
Exactly. So let's start with the question that everyone is asking themselves. What is shadow work and why is it essential during the process of healing from a divorce or a breakup?
Yeah, thank you. So, we don't know what we don't know until we know, right?
Right.
And what we don't know bites us in the ass, you know? Those old belief systems, the experiences we've had in our life that have shaped us, that have us being careful. Let's not rock the boat. Let's not speak up because if I speak up, there might be conflict or drama. We've all had a journey to this point. I've had my journey to this point, and I was in a marriage of for 20 years, walking on eggshells, often with knots in my stomach, not able to really get my needs met, micromanaging everything, and it was exhausting. And it affected the connection with my partner. It affected the whole marital unit with my child because I wasn't fully relaxed in being able to be myself, and certainly not being able to connect more deeply with my partner. The marriage didn't last because I discovered shadow work. So the shadow is the blind spot. The shadow is the part of us that somewhere along the way we cut off. We just said, oh, I better not be like this. Otherwise, bad stuff will happen. So let me give you an example. So before I talk about shadow work, got to talk about shadow. So the shadow is the concept from Carl Jung, the psychologist, which is a part that we feel is bad or shameful or dangerous to reveal. And we do this, we cut off aspects, and we can't let go of anything because it's part of us, but we can say, all right, I better not express my anger because anger is bad. Because when I was a kid, I saw a parent that was really aggressive to another parent, and I said, ooh, anger is bad. I'm never going to be like that. And guess what's birthed? A people pleaser, somebody who follows whatever other people want and just tries to keep the peace. We know that's not authentic. We know that hurts people. Same thing for, let's just say, selfishness. Maybe you expressed a desire for a toy in a supermarket, and your mother shamed you and said, you have enough toys, young lady. And in that moment, whatever was going on with the mom, maybe she was having a rough day, maybe finances were tight. and she gave some energy to you. You might, on some level, on an unconscious level, because we're little kids, might have been like, oh my God, I better not ask for things because I felt like I lost the love of my mom. This is all happening in the background in our unconscious mind, soaking up all of these experiences on how to be safe in this world, how to be loved in this world and not have drama or pain. So it's a really smart thing we do. We decide we better not be a certain way to get us through. However, it worked for us as kids, but then as an adult, we end up in these relationships like me, and I'm walking on eggshells because I don't want to speak up. The last time I spoke up, I got judged by this person or that person. So we are wired from our experiences. Our brain literally is functioning with the material, the information we've gathered through all of these decades. And we bring all of that to our present time. And then hopefully we wake up and go, this isn't working anymore. And shadow work shines a light on what is going on beyond your conscious mind. What is happening that has you playing small or overreacting or getting triggered or not really taking a stand for what's important to you or taking care of your kids in a healthy, peaceful, conscious way. And it's not just understanding, oh, this is why I am this way. My mother criticized me or my dad was aggressive. It's none of that. Well, it is that. You have to start there. You have to understand where you came from on some level. And the next piece is the shadow work, then, which is to heal it, to unplug from it so you can have that relief. You could be in the driver's seat consciously. You could have more peace. You could have those healthier conversations, the healthier boundaries, and way more love in your life. So that's kind of an overview of what shadow work is.
So you're talking about a lot of unresolved emotional baggage. And obviously, when we have it as parents, it impacts our children during the divorce and after the divorce. And
Yeah.
parents very often may not even be aware of it. So how does it impact the parents' behavior towards their children and how the children behave?
Yeah, great question. So again, if we don't know what's behind our conscious mind, if 95% of our brain, this is neuroscience, if 95% of our brain is in the unconscious realm, and that's where all the information is stored. If you have a challenging day and your desire is to be a loving parent, to be present, to be able to hold the space and listen and support your kid and handle things in a loving way. If not the 95%, if there's something back there that's going, you are just not a good parent, or you don't know what you're doing, or you messed up your relationship, or maybe you never even saw what healthy parenting looks like, what it was modeled to you. So everything that you've experienced has shaped you to be how you are with your kids. And that happened to me. I have to be honest with you. It's still, I do the best I can to say I did the best I could, but I look back and go, oh, if I only knew this sooner, I would have been able to navigate the divorce so much better for my kid, because inside of me was deep fear of having my kid wig out, not having a safe place for him, being in control of so many things, micromanaging so many things for him, even, at an older age. I was still with him. I was still navigating this new chapter with all the old beliefs around parenting and love, and ultimately just the fear of bad stuff happening. So the more we know who we are, the more we can give ourselves permission to be fully who we are and to love ourselves. Because this is not, okay, we all love our kids. We all want the best for our kids. And if we put them first and we don't do this work, it's clunky. It just is. It's clunky because we're going to say things we don't mean. We're going to be in reaction because we're so focused on the outside experiences. And of course, it's a yes and. We want our kids to be safe. We want them to thrive. And if we haven't unpacked our beliefs, if we haven't unpacked and really healed some of the old patterns of I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, all the things that we have kind of taken on as an identity of how we are as people, as parents, we're going to be more reactive than responsive. And so the more healed we are, the more we can relax and know that we have value and we have skills and we can be proactive and be in the driver's seat, the more we can have deeper, healthier, supportive conversations with our kids.
So let me see if I'm getting what you're
Yeah.
saying. We have to, as parents, work on our self-esteem, our feelings about ourselves, and feel confident in ourselves, and feel we're valuable and qualified to be parents. Because if we're coming from a place of deep insecurity and woundedness, it's reflected in our parenting, and our kids pick up on that, and they are not going to grow up feeling as confident in themselves. Is that part of the picture you're talking
It
about?
really is. You nailed it. And it, and it goes even beyond parenting in the sense that when we can have that self-esteem, when we can have those healthy boundaries, it affects all of our relationships. Uh, so let's just say you have a kid that's struggling and challenged, and you're afraid to speak up because of an old unconscious wounding around telling the truth, an old unconscious wounding around if I set a boundary, people get hurt or people will judge or people will react. It's not a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have that wounding, and I know I did, I had a lot of fear around setting boundaries with my kid. I was afraid, literally afraid on an unconscious level that if I set a boundary, we were going to have World War III and he's going to get hurt and I'm going to get hurt. And so I just kept trying to keep the peace, kept trying to keep the peace. But he didn't get to see and experience a healthy, grounded parent in me until later, because I definitely came along with the work that I did. However, a lot of it he witnessed me in my fear. A lot of it he witnessed me not speaking up to his dad and witnessed very unhealthy partnership. So wherever people are in the journey of divorce, how is your kid witnessing you when you talk to your spouse or your ex-spouse? How is he witnessing or she witnessing you in talking to them when they don't know where they're headed for the weekend, or they don't want to go to dad's or mom's for the weekend? How are you handling that? Are you handling it in a responsive, conscious way where you can hold the space for them? Or is it coming from shadow of fear, and they're going to sniff it out and they're going to take that on as their own experience in their own way?
So as a divorce and co-parenting coach for the Child Centered Divorce Network, I talk a lot to my clients about understanding that they are role models for their children, that the children are learning from them how to be, and if they step up and they own and are responsible for their behavior, if they apologize to their children for mistakes they may have made, if they show their children that they are responsive and not reactive, but think before they make decisions about things, then they are role modeling a more mature, conscious way of parenting. This is all part of overcoming these cycles of self-sabotage. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And self-sabotage, like why do we get in our own way? Why do we say things we don't mean? Why do we act and react in ways that hurt others or hurt ourselves? That's not what we want, but why do we do that? And again, it's coming from the unconscious realm of something bad might happen, of fear that something bad might happen. We're born with this, and then it gets supported by all these different experiences in our life. So to break the cycle of self-sabotage, we have to understand, why are we doing it in the first place? Why are we screaming and shouting? Why are we blaming and shaming? What is that about? And once we can do that and take responsibility, and sometimes say, yes, hun, I dropped the ball on that. And this is where I was coming from, and be that really healthy role model, that's when we can be great parents and support them in their understanding of what healthy relationship looks like and what a healthy person looks like. So we need to do the inner work so that we can model healthy conversations and have them witness us in our best so that they can also learn how to be in life. Absolutely.
Yeah, that certainly makes a lot of sense. So how does that impact our relationship with our former spouse? If we now have an ex, a co-parent, and there may be a tenuous relationship where we're not always feeling respected or appreciated or valued, or
Yeah.
maybe they're saying negative things about us to the children. That there's so many ways this plays out. How does this conversation evolve in our relationship with that former spouse?
That's such a good question. You're such a great interviewer.
Well,
Um, yeah, really, really great question. Well, let's just also first say it's tricky. It's tricky, we get married thinking it's all going to be amazing, and then we end up in this situation and it's like volatile a lot of the times and very unhealthy a lot of the times, where a lot of parents do throw the other parent under the bus. It sucks. And it can be really painful. So the first thing I want to just acknowledge, that it can be messy. We're dealing with human beings that have a lifetime of beliefs and experiences that have brought them to this place. Okay. And I really believe strongly it takes one to create change. One to create change. So let me just say, you can change, you can heal, things can shift, and they could very well, they meaning the other person, can go for the ride. Because when you throw a rock into a pond, there's going to be a ripple. And so if you shift and heal and change how you speak to your partner or ex-partner, how you're showing up, it's a really good possibility they will change as well. If you heal and change, you will see them differently as well.
yes.
And the big piece here also is they are going to be who they're going to be. And we cannot necessarily change them. We
Yes.
want to, but we can't. We can't unless they drink the Kool-Aid too.
Exactly.
So like I said, it's a little messy, but what I offer to everybody that wants better with their partners or their ex-partners, start with you. Because when you can come back to who you are, back to your importance, back to getting your needs, back to feeling appreciation for yourself, you don't need it from the other person. It's nice when someone appreciates you. It's nice when somebody has your back. It's nice when somebody goes, thank you for changing your plans and taking the kid for the weekend. I didn't see this coming. It's wonderful. But a lot of times that doesn't happen because that's just not how they're going to fly. And maybe they don't have the skills to be able to say thank you or acknowledge. Maybe they're still deep in their pain or their shame. I know that happened with my ex when I left the marriage. He was like, how could you do this? You've brought on so much shame, blah, 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 blah. And I saw him with his story, but it didn't hit me in my heart. I had compassion for his pain, but I had done enough work to be like, that's his story. And I was able to hold myself in peace and love and show up for him in a new way. And that's what I teach people. I mean, I have this program called the Relationship Toolkit Program. Not a fancy name, but it's a toolkit to help people really see what their beliefs are around love and partnership. Most people don't know why they believe what they believe about love and their love story. And then they start to learn how to have these difficult conversations and stand their ground, how to ask for their needs to be met, and even ask for appreciation, and how to trust themselves. It takes time, but it doesn't have to take months or even years. It's shifting inside of ourselves. And here's the other thing, even if the other person doesn't give you what you want, even if he's throwing you under the bus, how are you being? How are you reacting? How are you showing up to your kid when your kid says, well, dad said blah, 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 blah. What are you saying? Are you saying, well, dad's an idiot, blah, 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 blah? Or are you going, well, I'm sorry to hear that that's how he's thinking or seeing. This is my truth. This is where I'm coming from. And you stay in your peace and what you know. Be the model of peace and love and safety for your kid. And a lot of the times, the people in your life, exes, parents, you name it, they change.
Yes.
I see it all the time.
I do as well, and I really appreciate your message because I share that with clients. I 100% agree with everything you're saying, and it's wonderful. I want to stop here before we go any further and give you an opportunity to tell people how they can find you and the work that you do.
Thank you for that. Well, first, let me say I mentioned the Relationship Toolkit program, and I have a special opportunity. You could enter to win the program. It's a program that I guide you with to help you really claim this chapter of your life consciously in a healthy way, have healthy boundaries, be able to get your needs met, know you're worthy of love, and so much more. So I have a contest you can enter to win. Be sure to put your real address and phone number because there will be a winner. I will reach out to you. And there's a whole bunch of second place prizes as well that will support you in creating a healthy dynamic with your ex, with all your relationships. It truly is about your relationship with yourself so that it trickles out into every aspect of your life. And that is what's going to help your kids. And to find out more about me, you can go to midlifeloveoutloud.com. Midlifeloveoutloud.com. And my Midlife Love Out Loud is also my podcast, my Instagram handle, as well as my Facebook and YouTube channel. So if you remember that, you can find me everywhere.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. That sounds like a wonderful opportunity for our listeners. And in the time
Thank you.
we have left, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share some takeaway tips, some insights you have that everyone needs to remember because it's so easy to get very caught off guard and thrown off balance when things happen, unexpected things happen, and they're not going exactly the way you want, especially when an ex or a partner is not behaving the way you want. So what are your tips that we can take advantage of and keep in mind?
And this is for everything. I mean, welcome to life. We get curveballs thrown at us
Right.
all the time. Didn't see that coming. There's something so simple and yet we don't do it, which is take a moment, take a breath, don't react. I mean, it is a muscle I have had to work with to
Mm-hmm.
slow things down and to take a moment and give myself permission to step away and ask myself, what is the next best move? What's the next step to take? Because often we just react. We're compulsive. We want it to go away. It's scary. It's dramatic. I can't believe he did that. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. I'm going to call him or I'm going to, reach out to my friends. I'm going to post it on Facebook. I mean, people just keep reacting and it's just more fuel to the fire. So when when a partner or ex-partner or life throws you a curveball, give yourself a pause. Do some journaling. Ask yourself, what are you feeling? What's your thoughts about this? What's your opinion about this? How does it affect you? And take a moment. I mean, this could be like a 5-minute exercise to just deeply listen to what do you need and what would be the next step to take, because typically we don't do that. And
Mm-hmm.
if you take a moment and put your hands on your heart and close your eyes and take a deep breath and go, ouch, I didn't see that coming. I can't believe he said that. That can influence so many different things. And if you're in real time and you're in a conversation and somebody throws the curveball, you can and you have permission to say, you know what? I need to get back to you on this. Or you know what? I need to get off the phone because I'm in reaction right now. And I want to just make sure what I say is coming from an authentic conscious place. Own it, because just teaching people that, and I mean literally training the people that are throwing the curveballs at you, that you need to take a moment, lets them know, oh, wait a second, she's different. And more importantly, you give yourself the opportunity to come home to who you are and see what works best for you. Now, the thing is most of the time we can do that, but we don't know necessarily how to handle our emotions or our opinions or our judgments or all the wounding that might be bubbling up. And that's my specialty with the shadow work. It's like, okay, you have a reaction. Now, what do you do about it? And that's where we need to unplug from the past and get that relief and get that clarity around what are the tools. And with that said, this is one of the most powerful tools is stop. The whole stop, drop, and roll. If there's a fire, stop, drop, and get your pen and do some rolling on your pad, or just really go inside yourself and give yourself a moment, a breath to ask yourself, how can this be different? What is in your best and highest interest?
There you go. And when you're doing that, again, you're going back to being a role model for your children, because children learn from what you do, not from what you say, not from lectures. They learn from watching you, how you behave. And if they're seeing you do that as part of their normal daily lives living
Yes,
with you, then they pick up that this is an option. I can choose other ways of behaving. It doesn't have to be black or white. And
exactly,
we can give
exactly.
ourselves time to process before we make extreme decisions. So
I mean,
this,
could you imagine if you actually did that? When you think back in all the things that you jumped into or reacted to, how that would be different and how your kids would have witnessed and learned from you in a different
absolutely,
way. And so I encourage everybody to not, beat yourself up for what you haven't done. This is an opportunity to slow it down and be different now, because it's never too late to shift and heal and be that role model. And most importantly, enjoy your life, because it's the more you enjoy your life and the more you're aligned, they're seeing that too. And you're teaching them to do it for themselves.
there you go. Well, Junie Moon, you've been very enlightening.
Oh,
Listening to you has been great, because you speak in a very clear, articulate way, and we can feel your compassion and the care that you're exuding based on your own experiences. So thank you so much for sharing your insights about shadow work and how we can adapt it to getting through the divorce process, moving on and creating healthier new relationships next time around, and also
yes.
being mindful of protecting our children through the process. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share today.
It was great talking with you. So this is Rosalind Sedacca with the Child-Centered Divorce Network. I hope you'll visit my website, childcentereddivorce.com, to see all the free ebooks and programs and gifts that I have available there, and recordings, as well as the courses and programs that are low cost, that are available to support you at any stage before, during, or long after divorce. And I hope you'll join us again on Divorce, Dating, and Empowered Living on WGSN-DB, the Going Solo Network. Thank you very much. Till next time. Bye-bye now.
How was that, Rosalind?
Great. Just one moment to they moved